Okay, for my screencast, for my summary for the Physics 111 class, I'm going to go through some of my Prezzies and just kind of run over the information that we learned. And then I'm going to talk about the very end and summarize what I think I learned throughout the whole thing. So on the first day of class, we got our VPython things and we got introduced to VPython. I made my initials here, CC, with my code, which was Pac-Man, which I thought was pretty cool. Sorry, just 1 second. This was the coding for my initials. And then I was also still trying to figure out Prezi here. Second day of class, we did the same thing with the VPython. And then we got into the motion diagrams, which I was very confused by. I didn't know which way was up and down at that point. I was just very confused. This is my week 2 Prezi. Or sorry, that one's week 3. Here's my week 2 Prezi. During week 2, we did our chapter 6 VPython, and then we downloaded the tracker software, which is actually kind of hard to download and figure out, but once I did, it was really easy, and it made the chapter 6 really easy in the coding. Then the next class, we used motion detector software, and that'll show it right here. So our motion detector software that we were trying to match up right here, and that was pretty difficult to do. It got harder and harder, and the hard ones were really hard. So the next thing that we did was we learned how to do the spiral dynamics, or the spiral kinematics. So we did the spiral kinematics, and we also learned how to do them on Excel. I was really excited about doing them on Excel because all my engineering classes we use Excel a lot. So those were so easy to do in Excel, and then when we got here it was a lot harder because we got this new formula that I'd never seen before. But I love things that are more black and white, so formulas are really good for me to have. It's hard for me to think visually about a problem, but if I have a formula that I can plug information into, it makes my life so much easier. I'm more of a black and white learner. Let's see here. I don't know where my conclusion went, but let's see here. This is my week 3 summary. We did problems 19 through 22 of the kinematics, and we learned how to do that. That's number 21. That's one our group got assigned. So I think I've done this problem now probably a million times. I could tell you what the answer is by heart, but it was really good to learn that way. On here I'm saying that my favorite thing to do is Excel, partly because I'm lazy and partly because that's how we do it in engineering. So that's my Excel problem on my computer. That's why the picture is a little blurry. So this week was the chapter 8 VPython activity, which probably I thought it was the death of me. It really was so frustrating. I didn't get it at all. One of the girls had to help me a lot on it, and I still don't think that I got it. The VPython was not my favorite thing. I really hate, probably loathe would be a better word, computer programming. I know it had the vectors and stuff, but I really don't think that I had to do that much with physics, and I would have rather been doing more of the math problems in physics, or something hands-on. Computer programming stuff is just not fun to me, and it makes me not want to learn. So let's see. In week 4, we learned how to do the harder spiral kinematics programs with the 2 different objects and then 3 different events. Our group didn't solve it, but a couple of the other groups solved theirs. It was really frustrating because I didn't even know how to set up the problem. These were practicing the spiral kinematics 19 through 22 for our interviews. I did really good on this, but then in the interview I just totally freaked out. These were all of the problems, or all of the things that we were going to go over in the first interview. So these were the things that I studied that week. This is talking about the spiral kinematics problems and relating it to my life. Let's see. Okay, sorry about that. On here was my week 5 summary. We didn't have class this week, we just did interviews. So I did a lot of out-of-class homework. We learned about the Galilean relativity. Well, actually, we didn't learn about it in class. We had to read about it. And I was thoroughly confused on it. I looked up YouTube videos. I tried to get help. I messaged David and I never heard back. So it was really hard for me to grasp. So I didn't get that right in my interview. And also the spiral dynamics, I did those problems wrong in my interview because I started plugging in numbers and that's not what he wanted. So, studying for the interview, mostly the thing that I needed to do was remember the formulas. And so those are the 2 formulas that I had to do, and then I did all of the spiral dynamics, the new packet that we picked up in the interview. We had to do up to page 12. On here, this one, I did, actually I think I did all of them wrong. I don't think I got anything right. I think I got a couple of these right in here. No, I got a couple of these right. Other than that, all the other ones I got wrong. I guess it was mostly because I didn't get the Newton's first, second, and third laws. It just wasn't clear to me when I was reading it. I just got really confused. I liked the fact that we did interviews because it would help doing an interview for a job. That's a good skill to have. And it was really awesome not to have a test in this class. Let's see. My week 6 summary. So this is our spiral dynamics problems that we were learning about force. We learned about force this week, and then we did Hooke's law, and we found out that we were going to be doing our mousetrap cars. So I got assigned to doing distance for my mousetrap car, so we'll talk about that later. But Hooke's law is the law related to springs and force, and the force of springs. So that was really cool to learn, and I wish we could have done that with our mousetrap cars. But this spiral dynamics was so confusing to me, but when I sat down and did it myself, not in a group, it made more sense. So this is my mousetrap car, and the longest one that I recorded was 27 feet on the gravel, but when I did it in the gym, it went all the way to the other end. let me measure it.
.27 inches.
So that was when I did my mousetrap car. This is how I built it. It took me about 5 hours to build it, not including the drying of the epoxy. And then I tweaked it the next week after I came into class and tested it out. This also, it cost me about $15 worth of parts. I had the records, but I had to buy this rod and the bolts and this wood under here and the bearings that went in here, and I bought some graphite, and what else did I buy? Oh, I had to buy some drill bits to drill through this rod for the fishing line, so that costs quite a bit. I'm kind of gonna skip through this last one. My mousetrap car didn't win, but the string was supposed to let go at the end, and it never did. So it ended up going and then coming back. So that was really frustrating. I worked really hard and I spent a lot of money on my mousetrap, and I think it could have gone the farthest. I kind of got a bad luck of the draw on that. I honestly think it's because we were waiting for a long time and my string kind of got stuck in the hole. Let me play this. This right here was my mousetrap. Actually, it might have been this one. That's this one right here. And so it stops and then it starts actually rolling backwards because the string hooked on it.
Technically. Now it's going backwards.
So that was my race. So that was this week. So in our interviews for this week that we did the spiral dynamics force equations, and he also did some gravity, some force things with our mousetrap car, which was cool to kind of figure out. I wasn't really thinking of it the way that he explained it. And then just talking about force in general, which is something that is really hard for me to grasp right now. Also, each week it said to say how many hours outside of class we did. So for week 1 I did 2 hours, week 2 I did 6 hours out of class, week 3 I did 8 hours, week 4 was 6 hours, week 5 was 8 hours, week 6 was 10 hours, week 7 was 8 hours. That's when I went to the Science Center. And week 8 was 6 hours. And that's a total of 56 hours, so about 7 hours a week. It ended up totaling for this class. I really liked this class. It ended up being pretty easy. I felt like a lot of the discussions and stuff weren't related to physics, which was kind of frustrating. They were more science-based, but I really wanted to learn more about physics than just science. So that was kind of my only complaint, is that the papers and stuff weren't on anything physics related. I did not understand why that was, but all in all, I had a good experience in the class. So, nice seeing ya. Bye.